Rise and grind to the good people. We here. With no further delay. All right, let's get it going. It's Sunday. Time out. I'm in Southern California. It was supposed to rain today. You know how church is when it rains. So we had a really light day. Funny thing about church, I said it to my church today. I said, it's the lowest attended church day of the year. The day after the biggest attended day of the year. And so after Easter, nobody goes to church. And so the day after Easter, so you combine that with some rain today in Southern California, but I still had a good day. Had a really good day. And so we here to put on a really good show, getting myself situated, ready. Let's check in. Let's get it going. I started smoking without y'all because I was messing with my mic, messing with my production, my video production. And I said, let me light up my cigar in the meantime. So we about to get started. Sunday night, we talking about the cigar legends. This is a show for legends. We talking about the legendary names in cigars. So check in. I know some of y'all probably haven't been checked in. Y'all been here. I'm the one that's late. But let's get it going. So let me know. What am I smoking on? I got me. I'm with new school. I got me this Chimoli. So last show was about old school stuff. I said today, let's go new school. And so if around me, if you see the wind blowing, if you see me fall over, that's because there's some kind of storm going on in Southern California. So what's up, everybody? So I'm smoking on this Chimoli. This is the Dynasty. So I believe this is Ecuadorian Corojo. Loving this cigar. Got everything blowing all around me. And I'm sipping on some Jack Daniels. This is a new thing. Jack Daniels single barrel, heritage barrel, toasted barrel. So I said, if I'm going to do a legendary show, let me have a legendary bottle. I got some Jack Daniels. That's their toasted barrel. Just an amazing pour. Just delicious. What's up, old fogey? My brother. So he's going to be, we traded. So you remember me with the Friday nights? And so he's going to be launching his Friday nights. So be sure to check that out on Friday nights. I'll be able to jump in my Friday nights during the summer. I just want to chill. I want to get off of work. Maybe last Friday, my wife, we went on a date, a little double date. That's what I want to do on my Friday nights. I love hanging out with you guys, but I want to take my wife out on a Friday night every now and again. I want to be able to maybe leave work early, go play a round of golf on a Friday. I want to do some of those things. So for the summertime, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be enjoying our Friday nights, and once football starts, once the weather changes, once we go into fall, then we'll fall back to our Friday nights. What's up, everybody? We ready to have us a good show? What's up, all my friends? Professor Adams, Fogey, Mr. Young. I'm doing good. So let me take a little sip. So I hope you guys had a great Easter. I hope you're having a good time. And so tonight we talking about the legends in cigars. And that's what we came to talk about tonight. The legends. We're not talking about the new stuff. We talking about the legendary makers. And we'll discuss that. What's up, all my friends? Vigilante, Peter, Tito's World. What's up, everybody? We here. stogies and arms. Ah, like I'm all twisted. I don't know why I feel twisted. We're gonna have us a good time. We're gonna I'm gonna kick it with y'all, then I'm gonna go kick it with my wife. You know what we've been watching on Hulu? Paradise. Just started watching it, so I'm addicted to it. So every Sunday night we watch like 3-4 episodes. I mean, we're just getting started. I'm sure that it's probably already over as a show, but it's new for us. All right, what's up, my brother Tito? He said he earned his cigar today. Sometimes that's how I feel. I feel like, yeah, I've earned this moment. That's why listen. When I sit here and I have me a little drink, have me a cigar, I know I'm not bothering no one. I earned this. I've been working. I've been doing it. And so, yeah, we earn these moments. I say all the time that I know for me, I can't, the way my life is set up, I can't just step away. I can't. I can't just, yeah, I can go on a vacation, but that's like once or twice a year. I got to keep rising and grinding. And so, and then the sad thing for me, because I work a full-time job and I'm a pastor, so a lot of times I got to take vacation to do pastor stuff. I got to take vacation to go to church meetings. And so I can't always just step away and just go on vacation. So these moments, if you ever wonder, how do I stay relaxed? How do I stay sharp? I got to do this. This is how I stay in the game. I come and I relax. I smoke a cigar. I chill. I unwind. We have these kind of moments, these kind of conversations. So that's why this is so important. So yeah, we earn these moments. Brother Peter's sipping on some Ego Rare with a My Father Blue. That sounds good. I actually just got some bottles yesterday. I haven't been buying whiskey like that. I got me this bottle. It's by Barrel Bourbon. It's their cigar blend. That thing is fantastic. One of the best whiskeys I've had in a long time. And Knob Creek they've got a new bottle. They called it like some kind of blender's edition. But it's a standard. It's like a $45 bottle, but it's sweeter than your typical Knob Creek 9-year. It's 10-year, and they made it with a sweeter profile. So I've been looking at whiskeys. I can't say I'm going to buy them because you guys don't watch. I don't know if I'll be making whiskey content because, you guys don't watch my whiskey stuff. So I'll just stick with the cigars. But let's get caught up. Brother said the volume sounds a little low. Let me know. Sound check, mic check. I did turn my volume down because in checking other videos, I realized that I was like screaming into the mic. And so I did turn it down a little, but let me know. Mic check, sound check. I feel a little off. I always feel off. I never feel right. Let me know how we doing. We talking about the legends in cigars, the legends. It's a show for legends today. What's up, Chris? What's up, everybody? Donut Slayer, Professor Adams. He's got him Aganosa Supreme leave. Okay, all right. Based on a recommendation. Enjoy. I mean, listen. I should put out a bet and say, hey, have I ever recommended a cigar that wasn't good? Now, I mean, listen, I'm proud I can say that. I've never recommended a cigar that wasn't great. Look, 400 plus videos, not a single dud, not a bad recommendation. I ain't never lied about nothing. You might disagree with what I said. Like I know, okay, like my friend, Old Fogey. Yes, he loves Dunbarton. And I might, we can disagree, but you can't ever say I'm wrong. And so enjoy that, my friend. Stogies in Arms just poured him some Four Roses, smoking the Vow. I'm really liking the Vow. And so now that I've smoked enough of the Avowed, the Vow was my favorite one. So the New Dawn is the Connecticut. I smoked this cigar and I kept smoking. I kept wondering, why am I missing something with these? And I realized, oh, it's a Connecticut. So it's good for Connecticut, but it's certainly not my favorite. And the Hollowed Hands, it's on the darker side. I'm gonna let those sit for a little while, come back to that. But the Avowed, the Vow is the one. That's the one. That's the one. I don't know if it's like a Habano, but it's definitely the one for me. All right. Our brother's enjoying 80 degrees in Virginia. I mean, your weather is better than mine. Like I said, it's supposed to rain all day today. In fact, I played golf on Saturday. It was supposed to rain then, but it didn't. But it rained last night, and it's just really windy right now. So that's why I'm sitting in a jacket. You can see everything behind me is blowing. And so, what's up, Ryan? All right. We got some stuff to talk about today. Talking about the cigar legends. We're going to have us a good conversation. I'm going to make it entertaining and educative. Trust me, I've read books before. I have read books. We're going to make it entertaining and educating and inspiring and encouraging. And so we're about to get it going. What's up, Ron? He's enjoying him, one of my favorites, Series V Milanio. And so I just put out that video, I think the last video you guys saw, where I list the cigars I'm addicted to. And I'm surprised I didn't feel like listing that one in the video. I don't know why. I smoke them a lot, but I think maybe I smoke too much. I think that's probably what it is. I think I smoked too much of them. Now I need to take a little break from them. All right, what's up, Alta? I feel like I gotta twist my neck, my head. What's up, everybody? He was smoking the Aganorsa. Everybody's smoking the Aganorsa. All right. You know, I'm going to, I don't know. I recommend these cigars, and folks, y'all just be buying up the cigars, and that's cool. That's cool. But you know, I'm a businessman, so I need to figure this thing out. I'm not going to just be recommending cigars, and all these cigar companies are selling out with their cigars and doing great. And I'm sitting here like, oh, okay, well, are they going to send me a thank you note? Something to say, hey, thank you. Thanks for selling out our whole cigar. I mean, everyone's telling me, oh, I'm buying the Aganorsa leaf after I saw your video. Everybody's calling up Cuban crafters trying to buy some house blends. House blends nobody ever talked about, nobody ever heard. Their sales has probably gone up like 200%, but it's all good. It's all good. What's up? Oh, my brother, Big Manny's about to enjoy a Kintsugi for the first time. That's another cigar I recommend all the time. Alec and Bradley. All right, so I'm smoking on this Jamoli, the Dynasty. And as a backup, I know I'm smoking it so fast. I need to slow down. As a backup, I'll dive into this Warp, this Guardians of the Farm. So we'll do that in a little bit. As I sip on some Jack Daniel's Heritage Barrel. All right, I know old Fogey. He been doing it big with all kinds of Oprah's acts, and just I think he just put out a video. I haven't even got a chance to see it. He's been hitting out the cigar lounges. So funny. My daughter, she says, "Dad, do you have a camera I can borrow? I want to do some vlogging." And I said, "Yeah, I got a camera." I used to go to cigar lounges and do videos there, but I haven't done that in forever. So I said, "You can have my vlogging camera." So I got to get back. I got to get back out, visiting lounges, traveling again. I just haven't been traveling, so that's why I haven't done those lounge videos. But I know old Fogey, he's been out there. What's up, Texas? All right, all my friends are here. I'm just trying to get caught up, give you a quick little opening monologue, and then we'll dive into the legends of cigars. And if you want to just preemptively go ahead, put that in the chat. Who do you believe? Who do you think we're going to be talking about tonight? Just the cigar legends. Just the top names in the cigar space. This video, the idea comes courtesy of one of my subscribers, great supporters of the channel, Sister Joe. She said, "Hey, how about you just talk about the big boys? Talk about the people who kind of started all this." And I said, "That's a great idea. But of course, I got to do it in my own fashion. And I'll get into that in a second." What's up, Johnny? He's retired. All right. Texas is trying a Macanudo Inspirado. I haven't had a Macanudo in a while. Let's put that on like 10 years. Johnny's got a Tatuaje. I'm loving the Tatuajes. Yeah, I love their Monster series. I think those are like Lanceros. House of Manners got him. My Father, Le Bijou, 1922. And drinking him some Irish whiskey. All right. Everybody enjoying what they got. Making sure I stay hydrated. Making sure I stay rested. I was talking with old Fogey and he's like, "Man, you put out so much content." I said, "Yeah, I do, but I'm scaling it back." You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta take care of your mental health, your family, your job. And so you may have noticed, you still see 2 to 3 videos a week, but I'm scaling it back. Trust me, I'm scaling it back. And so you saw a video about some cigars that's just not worth the money. You're going to really like a video I'm about to drop on Tuesday about a very popular cigar that's hyped. That's just not worth it. It ain't worth the money. What we're starting to see. This is why we got to speak truth to power. We're starting to see some expensive cigars come out again. The Plasencia, they about to drop some expensive cigar celebrating World Cup or something. I think they dropped the Ethical the last time. That was like a $50, $60 cigar. It was okay. It was good. They about to drop another $60 cigar. So I haven't had that. I don't even know if it's out yet. But there's some expensive cigars out here. Well, I'm gonna let the people know it may not be worth it. It may, and you're gonna really listen. I'm a scientist. I'm gonna break it down for you. I already shot the video. This cigar is like a $60 cigar. The cigar is just falling apart as I smoke it, cracking, unraveling, just uneventful. But it's a $60 cigar and everybody's been talking about it. And so we dropping that video soon because there's a lot of stuff that gets hyped. So I dropped that video, 7 cigars that gets hyped. A lot of these Davidoffs, I don't think they're worth it. We try to help the people out. We try to just share with you, hey, look, here's my experience with this cigar. It wasn't worth it. And at the same time, I'll let you know that, hey, here's some great cigars. Here's some stuff I've been smoking that I can't get enough of these things. And so that's what came out last week. This week, so again, I'm going to do that hyped, expensive cigar that's just a dud. Not worth it at all. Then we'll talk about some box-worthy cigars. So we bring you the content, dropping some shorts on you, doing our lives. We here Sunday nights. All right. Brother just had him an Oliva. It's a good combination. My father, the judge, sipping on some Chattanooga rye. I think that's some Tennessee rye. All right, we about to get started. Okay. House of Mana says you can't talk about legends without talking about Padron. So we'll talk about Padron. All right, let's get it going. So y'all say y'all want some whiskey recommendations. Y'all say it. You say it. And that's why I got my Patreon. That's why I got my what do they call it? YouTube member thing. And so those kind of videos that I realize that, look, people don't watch them when I drop videos on them. I could do a whiskey video tomorrow. I think it'll get like a couple hundred views. I mean, it's not a lot for me. And so I said, all right, look, my whiskey content, those kind of stuff, I'll put those on different platforms. So check out my Patreon. We're back to uploading videos. I'm going to upload about 2 to 3 videos a week on the Patreon. So check that out. On my YouTube members. So that's another platform where you become an exclusive member. And that's where I'm going to put like the whiskey stuff, the motivational stuff, the stuff where I like to make the content. I think it's important content, but people don't really watch it like that. And so for my true fans, if you want to get that extra stuff, check out the Patreon, check out the YouTube members. In fact, several of you have joined the YouTube members. And the beauty about it, as you saw last week, when you become a YouTube member, when you make a comment, it shows differently. And so I can see your comments, I can see you in the live. And plus, you're going to get this exclusive content. And so check out the stuff. I'm not just pushing it to say, send me money. No. I have all these different content streams to be of more benefit to you. Because I can't put all the content in one place because it's not smart, because YouTube does not care about my whiskey content. And so if you want to see my whiskey content, then I got to put it in a place where the people who want to see it is going to get it. So I keep trying to do whiskey. I mean, I started with whiskey. That was the start of the channel with Blanton's. But now when I do whiskey content, nobody watches it. And I feel sad. All right, let's get it going. I saw a huge super chat. All right, we're about to address that. Brother Brad's enjoying a foundation and some Travelers Foolproof. I haven't had the Travelers Foolproof. And so enjoy that, my friend. Tito's enjoying that new riff. All right. Let me just try to get caught up. I wish I had a moderator. But one man show. All right. House of Manners. Yeah, this heritage, this thing is winning. And it's perfect. It's 100 proof. So it's not barrel strength. It's perfect for the summertime. And so it's not like Eagle Rare. I mean, it's 100 proof, toasted barrel, and it's just delicious. It's the kind of thing you can sip on a summer night. So it's not strong, but it lets you know it's there. And so I normally go with barrel proof. All right, let's get it started. Make sure you're hitting like, because I know we're about to have an amazing conversation talking about the legends of cigars. Chris says Fuente. Yeah, we'll be talking about, so we already said 2 names, Padron, Fuente. All right. Brother says, yeah, some of you guys found me as I was traveling. So with my last job, I worked in aerospace. So I was on the East Coast a lot. DC, Maryland, Virginia. I'm from Florida. I just want to get back to traveling. And so now the thing is, I've been traveling but I don't always take my camera with me. And so I got to get back to doing that. Because sometimes when I go to a lounge, I don't want to work. Sometimes shooting a video, and I always want to check in with the owner. Do you mind if I shoot? And then that becomes a whole thing of, that conversation with the owner. And believe it or not, I'm actually like a low-key kind of guy. Like, as loud as you may think I am in real life, when I go to a lounge, sometimes I just want to sit and chill. But if I got a camera and now people know, oh, he making a video, and right away people say, oh, you that guy. And then it becomes a whole thing, and then I don't get to chill and relax because people think, oh, you rise and grind, so say something, tell a story, do something. And I'm in the lounge because I want to chill and relax. I don't want to say nothing or do nothing. All right, Johnny. I paused because a helicopter's flying over. And so that was a strange occurrence. I mean, there's a military base close to me. And so sometimes there'll be some stuff flying over. And so to the content creators, listen, if you're doing a video, a live stream, something weird happens, a helicopter flies over, just stop, pause, relax, chill. You don't have to push through. Just relax. Johnny got him an Opus Templo del Oro. Listen, I used to be the Opus King. Now you guys smoking Opus X that I never even heard of. I know Fogies got them all. But he says he was disappointed in this one. All right, I like the regular Opus X. I don't really get into the specialty Opus. All right. Yeah, I'm just an old school Opus X fan. All right, JC Newman, legendary story I'm sure of. I don't think I mentioned him today or them. Yeah, I don't know. They must be having some kind of exercise going on. I got helicopters flying over. If I was in LA, that'd just be the LAPD flying over. But where I live is like, no, this ain't no LAPD. Just some kind of military op. Something happening. Maybe something happening. I don't know. All right. EP Carrillo, that's another name. I got to try that Pledge Purple. All right. And now, Professor Adams, my friend. He says, thanks for setting up the Patreon. So he's on there enjoying that content. I'm dropping the content. I got a lot of content. I've got years worth of content. I checked. I said, you know what? I got 2 months worth of YouTube content lined up. I got probably about a year's worth of content I can just keep putting on Patreon and on YouTube channel. So we good from a content standpoint. So Professor Adams, thank you. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate. Thank you, sir. May God bless you and keep you. In fact, that make me feel like praying. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Bless this show. Bless us with a time of relaxation, encouragement, education. Bless every man and woman that's watching. Cover their households, oh God. Be with us. Teach us something. Show us something. Let us just unwind and relax. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. I wish I was a professor right now. Truth be told, I tried becoming a professor, but didn't work out. None of the schools wanted me. I don't know why. I wish I was a professor at a college right now. That's the job I really wanted. That's why I got a PhD. But in the end, I'm just back. I'm just a working stiff in corporate America. Thank you, Professor. I really appreciate that. Thanks. I mean, that's huge. Didn't have to do it. I appreciate you for doing it. And I appreciate all of you guys. As you're watching, hit like, hit hype. Let's get us going. Support this. That's all I ask. I just say, hey, you ain't got to pay nothing. Just pay attention. Just support. And I know some of you guys go deep. Mr. Cash always blesses us. Professor Adams just blessed us mightily. Yeah, so we enjoying this chimole. I'm smoking it way too fast. We haven't even started the show, and I'm like almost done. All right, we're calling out names. Eladio Diaz, that's a big name. I think you know what? I'll do a part 2 for this and try to get some more names, because I was like, okay, the big names, the legends. It's so many names, but I can't mention them all. So I'll cover about 5 of them tonight. I think next week we'll do some more. And why is that? So here's one thing I noticed with my channel, and let me say this as peacefully as I can. A lot of times, my brother just talked about Cuban crafters. He said he bought 5 bundles. So when I say I'm helping these companies out, yeah, I'm helping these companies out, and I'm a businessman, so I need to watch how I'm doing this. Because if my brother here, he bought 5 bundles already. All right, okay. Cuban crafters, somebody gotta send me an invoice at some point. Like, I'm helping y'all. All right. One of the things that, for today's show, I want to talk about some of the legendary cigar makers. One of the things that I noticed, and I got to really toe this line. I know old Fogey's about to start his Friday Night Lives. Well, okay, it's not Friday Night Live. I got Friday Night Lives. I think he's doing like a Freaky Friday kind of thing. One of the things I noticed with cigar content, it's, how can I say this? Cigars, as much as we love to smoke them and as much as we enjoy them, they're kind of boring in some regards. And let me explain. Okay, guns are exciting. Guns are fun, you know? Even whiskey is fun. Sometimes cigars, it can be a little boring to talk about. And so what you got to do is you got to do it in such a way that's still fun and entertaining. And I think this is the struggle that a lot of cigar channels have. How do you talk about cigars and still make it fun and interesting? And this is why so many channels struggle, simply put. This is why most cigar live streams don't do that good. I mean, I'm not trying to gloat. I'm just saying, if you think about, okay, which cigar live streams put out, do live streams and get, 500 to 1,000 views. There's like 2. I think, and I'm not gloating. I'm just saying I do it and Cigars Unbanded do it. That's it. It's not an easy thing to do. Why? Because to talk about cigars, it ain't the most fun and exciting thing in the world. When you think about just cigar content, the ones who've succeeded have found out how do we make it interesting? How do we make it fun? As we go way back. When you look at legendary cigar content channels, Ron Real found a way to make it fun. He had the March Madness. He found out how do I make cigar content fun, because nobody really wants to sit and just talk about dried up leaves. It's too sciencey. It's fun to smoke, but it doesn't make for amazing conversation. When we think about legendary cigar content channels, look at Lee Mack. Lee Mack, legendary channel. But if you notice, we all know, yes, he provided the cigar content, but a lot of it was personality. It was stories. When you look at Cigar Vixen, we all know, listen, it was great. Yeah, she knows about cigars, but you watch it, because yes, I mean, it's very enticing to watch. When you think about even the people, I look at Cigar Brother. Cigar Brother puts out a lot of content, and he's flat out just doing short movies at this point. He's doing like all this cinematic filming, and that's what you got to do. You can't just sit there and just talk about the cigar because that's not, it ain't the most fun thing in the world. It's not the most exciting thing. And so if you're making content, you got to find out, okay, well, how do we do this? How do we talk about cigars? How do we talk about cigar makers? But yet keep it upbeat. And if you notice with my channel, as you all know, I got to find a way that, how are we going to have these conversations about cigars, about cigar makers, but yet keep it fun, keep it interesting, keep it live. When I think about my live stream, so yes, we do okay. The one, the Cigars Unbanded, as I said, they're the biggest. They're gonna put out like 1,000 views, 1,000+ views every live stream. But it ain't just about the cigar. It's an entire community that's coming together to talk about cigars, and so that's what their appeal is. They got this big old, panel and people, and it's a community and it's friends, and they're going back and forth with each other. And that's fun. That's interesting. For me, I got to figure out, okay, how do I have these topics? How do I keep it interesting? And so that's why I said, as old Fogey's about to launch his Freaky Fridays, like, yeah, that's what you got to do. You gotta find a way to have this stuff be interesting. And so and someone recommended, they say, well, why don't you just do a show and you talk about all the big cigar makers? Here's the thing I realized, and I'm going to do that tonight. But the thing I realized, one, talking about cigars isn't always the most interesting thing. It's not the most fun and exciting thing. And a lot of the cigar makers, a lot of the conversations are a bit dull. A lot of the conversations, and listen, I've had these moments and these opportunities where I've had the conversations or discussions with the makers to say, hey, come on my show and let's do a show. But I'm always thinking about, where's the entertaining appeal? Because sometimes those shows, I'm not throwing shade, but a lot of times those shows, it's not exciting. It's boring. And I'm big on, as I say in my prayer, we're going to educate you and we're going to entertain you. Listen, it's Sunday night. I'm not trying to tell you about no science project about how cigars are grown, and I want to always keep it fun, keep it interesting, keep it upbeat, keep it fast, keep it moving. And so in my own way, so that's my intro to saying, we'll talk about the cigar makers. But I just want to explain that to say, because someone say, well, why don't you just bring them on the show? Why don't you just interview them? Because that doesn't always make for good entertainment. I mean, flat out, sometimes it's just boring. And I'm not gonna, two things I'm never gonna do. I'm not gonna do nothing that just pushes a product on the people. That ain't just the way, that's not the way I roll. If I recommend something or bring someone on the show, it's gotta be pure. It can't just be, hey, I brought this guy from this company and he wants you to buy his cigars. Like, look, no, this show is never gonna have that salesman approach. I'm never gonna push products on you. Second thing is, I'm never gonna bore you. There's a lot of shows where I was like, I could do it, but that's boring. I don't want to watch that. I want, as you getting ready for Monday, I want you to have some fun, laugh about something, get mad about something. And so And so that's the biggest thing. And I say this to the content creators because I know you guys are going to watch this. You got to find a way to, how do you educate, but also entertain? And I'm saying that because that's the biggest struggle, I think, even in the cigar content space. And that's why a lot of people struggle, because they can't make it entertaining. And so I'm just sharing that to say, okay, so this is why I don't really want to bring the brands on the show or the brand owners. It might seem like a good idea to talk to them and talk to the big guys, but those guys aren't always as charismatic and entertaining. Now, some of them are, some of them can tell good stories and they're interesting, but from what I've seen, it just doesn't make for good content. And let me know if you think I should do something different. Let me know if you would enjoy that. I don't think it makes for good. It's not my style. So let me know. Put that in the chat. Let me know if you would like those kind of live streams. Let me know if that floats your boat. Let me know. Put that in the chat. Let me know if you care for those kind of conversations. I'd rather just come on here and just talk to the people and talk about whatever we want to talk about, and not be constricted to talking about one brand. And again, that's just my thoughts at the moment. And so that's why, yes, I've had those conversations with Brian from Pravada. That's someone I can bring on, and I think he can hold down a show. He's quick. He's quick with it. He's charismatic. He's got the gift of the gab. He can keep the show going. A lot of these guys, I'm not dissing them, but I'm just saying it doesn't make for great entertainment. They might make great cigars, but my friends say, no, follow your mind. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would do. And I said, because I wish I could just do it. But I'm like, nah, man, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to do that, and I always think, I said this last week. When you do a YouTube channel, when you do content, you got to ask yourself, who wants to watch this? And I have a vision in my mind of who watches my channel. It's a 40-year-old man who works, he's married, he's got kids, he's a good guy, he's relatively new to cigars. He mainly wants to be entertained. He wants to chill. He wants to hear something funny. He wants to learn a little bit about cigars, but he may not want to listen to some guy talk about how great his cigars are for like an hour and a half. Because that might not be the most entertaining thing. All right, so with that said, so in fact, just based on what I'm hearing, so I'm gonna launch this in a way. My brother says the vibes. That's what we do. We bring a vibe, And sometimes, it's hard to keep the vibes up when you're trying to interview somebody and they just going on and on about how great their cigars are. Like that's not the lane I operate in. We about the vibes. All right. I like that. Tito says, we provide community. Yeah. That's what we do. So, but at the same time, though, I always feel like, yeah, but I'm not educating. I'm not letting the people know about this and that. So what we'll do today and probably the next show, I want to share with you, because I want you to know who's who and who's what and who's doing this, who's doing that, so you can understand what's going on. But we got to do this in our own way. All right, so let's dive into this. So we're talking about the legends of cigars, legendary cigar makers. I've asked you to list who's your legends, who's, and again, one of our friends, Sister Joe said, hey, how about you do a video or a live stream? And so this was her idea. Hopefully she's on. She's one of my loyal sisters of the leaf. And so I'm enjoying this Chamole Dynasty, sipping on some Jack Daniel's single barrel. And I smoked this cigar way too fast. 45 minutes in, I haven't even started the show. I'm almost done with the cigar. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you comment and letting us know about these legends. All right, we're going to dive into this. Legends. We talking about the legends, cigar legends. So today is just the big boys. We coming out hot. And like I said, we'll probably do, this might be a 2-3 part series. The legends. Someone said earlier, first legend we got to cover. Despite my journey, despite where I am with this cigar, we got to dive into it. Listen, there ain't no cigars if we ain't talking about Padron. I don't care what Rise and Grind said. Padron is just it. I don't care whether I'm smoking them or not smoking them. See, a man's got a thing called integrity. They may not be my most favorite cigars, but listen, you cannot talk about cigars if you don't talk about Padron. To all the new guys out there, I mean, I'm not saying you should smoke a Padron as one of your first cigars, because it's going to do something to you. But you gotta smoke a Padron. You gotta smoke them. It's let's see, how do we say this? It is among the best cigars that you will ever smoke. Padron, and we see there's Jose Orlando Padron. And his son. This family goes back to the 1800s. Listen, I want you to know how serious this thing is. This family, this ain't no new stuff. Now, I know I pulled out this Chamole and I said, all right, I'm going to give the show some balance. But if we're talking about the legends of cigars, we got to talk about the Padrones. We're talking about Cuba, 1800s. Not 1980, 1800s. They've been doing tobacco since the start of this thing. And so Cuban tobacco, the Padron family has been there. This is legends. And so that's why, even for me, I always got to check myself and say, hey, look, check yourself. Don't be talking bad about Padrones. Padrones that's the name. That's the top name. That's the top name. And so I got to check me. I look me in the mirror and I check me. I said, hey, don't be talking bad about Padrones. Padrones, that's the best name in cigars. Again, going all the way back to the 1800s. Cuban tobacco, Cuban cigars. That's what started this whole thing. Now, around 1964, I'm giving you a whole history lesson here. Yeah, great point. Zachary says Padron teaches new smokers not to smoke too fast. Here's the it's not a problem. Padrones are they're well aged, and so they're the king of aging tobacco, and they are the king of quality. Here's what they are the king of. They're the king of the draw test. They draw test all their cigars. So every single Padron is going to draw perfectly. Here's the problem. If you're smoking regular cigars, and you guys may have noticed, with this one, it's a pretty good cigar. The Chamole is well cared for. I've been sitting on these for probably like a year now. But I got to take like 2 puffs, sometimes 3 puffs to get enough smoke so I can get the taste in my mouth. With Padrones, here's the problem. If you're doing like 2 puffs with most cigars and then you smoke you a Padron, you're going to get too much smoke. And so with Padrones, it's perfectly draw tested. So you just need just 1 puff and you good. And so Padrones are the king of, so they draw test all of their cigars. And so you hear people talk about, oh, it was a tight draw, loose draw. No, every Padron is going to be a perfect draw. With this man set up, Jose Orlando Padron. So they had a company going all the way back, their family legacy. They've been doing this for a long time. Cuba, 1964, Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro, all that stuff happened. And so then the Padron family, they left Cuba and they went to Miami, which is where I'm from. So they got a whole setup in Miami. That's where their headquarters is. I've been to where they are. I went there before I had a channel, so I didn't have footage of it. But if you're from Miami, you know about the Padron name. As my brother says, great example of tenacity. So they face it all. Their factories burned down. They left during a revolution. I think this Jose Orlando here, I think he was like close friends with Castro, or I'm not trying to tie him to Castro or nothing, but they was there in Cuba. And then he escaped. He fled. He got out of there. Went to Miami, and then they set up their factory in Nicaragua. And so two things you think about when you think about Padron. I talk about the quality. The quality is going to be exceptional. Draw testing. So those are going to, and that's why a guy like me, when I smoke a Padron, yes, a lot of us, we may get it may be too much because it's going to draw perfectly. And I think it's important to understand, you're taking the way of rolling Cuban tobaccos, but now you're in Nicaragua and you're using Nicaraguan tobacco. Nicaraguan tobacco is richer. That's based on the soil, based on the sun. There's more nutrients in it. It's just different. I'm not saying it's better, but it's richer. If we want to just talk about where tobacco comes from, Nicaragua is going to be, the soil is a lot more richer. When you look at Cuba, if you ever wonder, how come Cuban cigars are so much lighter? Yeah, that's because the soil is different. It's a different thing. Dominican Republic, even less. And so this is why, based on where the tobacco is coming from, that's going to determine your experience. And so some people say, oh, Padrones are strong. Yeah, it's Nicaragua. The soil is just stronger. It doesn't mean it's better. And so when you combine stronger soil and the draw, there's not going to be anything plugged. Nothing's going to stop that smoke from getting into your mouth. And so the tobacco is stronger. It's rolled perfectly. It's been draw tested. And so this is where so yes. So if you're new and you're just smoking a cigar, you pick up a Padron and you smoke it and you double puffing, you're going to get sick because you don't need to double puff and it's stronger to begin with. And so that's the thing about Padrones. They left Cuba. They're using Nicaraguan tobacco and they age everything. Their stuff is so their aging rooms there is just massive. Aging, they age their tobacco. Quality is exceptional. And so when you look at some of the cigars they put out, the 1964, the 1926, they're always celebrating something because they have such an amazing legacy. So that's why they got like the 50th and the 60th. And this stuff isn't new. And so I'm smoking this Chimoli. Chimoli isn't going to have a 90th year anniversary because they ain't been around for 90 years. Padron's been around since the 1800s. Last thing I'll tell you about them is let me get caught up a little bit in the comments. Guns and Water says the cigar industry draw tester looks like a shop project from high school. So yeah, it's a real thing. I know Pravada, Brian with Pravada does some draw testing as well. Not everybody does it. Not everybody has the equipment to do it. Not everybody even has that desire to do it. Padron does. The other thing I'll say with Padron, I'm going to get on business with you. I got a master's in business. They are 100% vertically integrated. What does that mean? That means everything they do. Listen, I'm not dissing the other companies. Most companies is white label. They buy the tobacco from somewhere. Most companies, they buy the rolled cigars from somewhere. Padron is 100% them. Everything. They've got huge fields because, again, they were doing this since the 1800s. And what they're doing now that you and I are more familiar with, they've been doing since the 1960s. And so that right there, I mean, that's a long time. That's like at least 60 years right there of their operation being in Nicaragua. What does that mean? The seeds is theirs. The soil is theirs. The tobacco is theirs. The factory is there. The rolling room is theirs. The aging room is theirs. Everything is theirs. And so they are 100%. They don't have to bring nothing in. They don't have to ask nobody for nothing. It's all their tobacco. It's 100% their process. And most companies can't say that. Padron's, it's 100% vertically integrated. They focus on quality. It's going to have some strength to it. But it is the best. I can say that without doubt or reservation. Yes, I can say it. Out of respect for what they've been through and for who they are, Padrons are the best. Yeah. Now, okay. Now, from a personal bias, I mean, am I going to smoke Padrons? I mean, it's got some strength on it, and there is a particular flavor profile. And so it's almost like saying, hey, steak, a well-aged steak is the best thing you can eat, right? Sure. Get you some Texas beef, get you a T-bone, or get you some filet mignon. It's the best steak. Get you some Kobe beef or whatever. But I may not be a big beef eater. And so that's just the problem that we have right now, where I know Padron is the best, but I may not be big into that profile. Brother says Padron's only been around since 1964. The Padron as we know it, the Padron of the Nicaragua, but we're talking about the family legacy. We're talking about Cuba. So remember, everything changed with the Cuban Revolution. Everything changed with Castro and all of that. So they've been doing it since the 1800s, and not just them. Other companies. We'll discuss that tonight. But Padron is just that company. Question: do they roll for anyone else? I don't know that they do. I don't think they do. I think they keep it all in-house. A lot of companies like Plasencia, and they may not necessarily roll, but they provide tobacco to others. Aganorsa provides tobacco to others. AJ, who we'll definitely talk about, rolls for others. I don't think Padron rolls for other people. And so let me know. What has been your experience with Padrons? I've shared with you my Padron. Listen, I used to just love sitting and smoking me a Padron 1964, the natural. I used to really love that cigar. I should revisit it. I got to revisit it. So that's going to be a video that comes up. I got to revisit it. I can't talk bad about them and say I don't smoke them. Padrons are the best. But yeah, that Nicaraguan strength, and you just got to be ready for it. But it is the best. It's the highest quality cigars. Padron is the best. And so let me know. Have you had Padrons? And as I do this video or this live stream, this show, I realize a lot of things I just take for granted. I think, everybody knows this. But, hey, like my brother says, class is in session. I figure, okay, let me not get all teachy, but let me share some information with you guys. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you just walk. Maybe you're newer to cigars. You just walk into the lounge. You see a section of Padrones, and you don't understand the allure to it or the mystique behind it. And it becomes very important. So again, for a guy like me doing cigar content, yes, I did a video saying I don't smoke them, but I want you to understand the significance of even that video. That's like saying, oh, I don't buy Rolexes. Yeah, because I can't afford it, but it's the best, So I think if you're in any space, you gotta understand the space that you're operating in. And this is why sometimes there's a respect that's due to a company that's been around since the 1800s. There's a respect that's due to someone like Jose Orlando Padron. There's a respect that's due, and I get upset because sometimes these new guys pop up out of nowhere, and they're like, oh, I've been doing cigars for 20 years. Okay, a lot of times all that means is he was a salesman at some cigar company. And a lot of times these new guys, they want that same respect. They want that same recognition. I'm like, slow down, buddy. You're a salesman. You worked at this company and that company. I'm not putting you in that category as Padrones. You just got here. Yeah, you've been doing this for 20 years, even 30 years. Good for you. You're a salesman. You wasn't there in Cuba. You wasn't there in Nicaragua. You weren't there rolling the tobacco, planting the tobacco. Dude, you worked in the accounting department. So slow down, buddy. Slow down. And a lot of times, a lot of people are like, oh, you ought to respect this name. He's been in the industry. Yeah, being in the industry is a little bit different than really working the fields. Like, everyone who knows me, I'm from Miami, right? I love Miami. In fact, let me check the score. The NBA is wrapping up right now. And the NBA is wrapping up right now. I'll see if Miami won. Rory McIlroy won the Masters. Shouts out to him. I played golf on, like I said, Saturday. My drive. Ooh, I'm hitting the ball so much further. I'm averaging like 260 off the tee. I'm feeling good. I'm trying to see if Miami won tonight. Yeah, we won tonight. What am I talking about? Miami, our head coach, Eric Spoelstra, right? He's never played. I mean, he probably played in high school or something. He was the film guy, the equipment guy, and then he became an assistant coach. He studied film. He learned how to study film, and then he became our head coach. He's great at that, but he wasn't a player. Does it matter? It matters a little bit. Matters a little bit. You see, men like me, we gonna give you a little bit more respect if you was out there in them fields. If you was out there in Cuba. Because you've been in the industry for a long time and you worked in sales or accounting or finance, that don't mean you a cigar guy. That's just my own personal opinion. Let me know if I'm wrong. But the reason why I'm doing this show tonight is to really show us the real legends in this thing. Because if we're not careful, the sales guys will make us think that they the guys. The guys who ain't never walked the field, they ain't never planted a seed. The guys in suits sitting in boardrooms, they'll have us thinking that they the cigar experts. And a guy like me comes along and says, no. We gonna give respect to who respect is due. I respect you as an accountant. Got it. You were an accountant for Davidoff. Good. But we talking about the legends of cigar making. Not just the people who, listen, okay, good. You crunch the numbers. Got it. But we talking about the guys. We talking about the ones who put hand in dirt. That's who we shouting out. And so let me know. Let me know about your experience with Padrones. Let me know about what we shared thus far. Brother says AJ is also fully vertically integrated. Definitely. He says also the Garcias. Garcias, that's the My Father. Is that My Father? Yeah. My Father. You see, it's a little bit different when you've been doing it. Brother Buddy says Perdomo is also vertically structured. All right, good stuff. And definitely, Perdomo is another name. I've heard two names tonight, so I'll make sure to take note of them. We heard about Perdomo. I'm gonna run out of time. I can't capture everybody. We talked about Eladio Diaz, and as we talk about the whole Cuban thing, we talk about Davidoff. A lot of this, when we talk about cigars, we got to go pre-Cuban Revolution and post-Cuban Revolution. And so before 1964, everything was just different. So all these companies, the Davidoffs, the Padrones, they were in Cuba operating. Once the Cuban Revolution happened, Castro takes over. Most of these companies left Cuba. Some companies like Davidoff, they stuck around till about the 1990s. And then they said, you know what, we out of here. And so there's so much history to this. And again, listen, I'm just a regular guy. There's people who know a lot more than me. People like Brian and Pravada, people like that. So I'm not gonna try to act like I'm some historian to this thing, but I've been doing this for a little while, and you know, I've heard some things. I might have some stuff to share. So if you're getting some benefit from this, make sure you're hitting the like button as we continue on. Bro said he's got some 64s. Yeah, age them, and I know that they're gonna smoke perfectly. Enjoy your Padron. So don't let me make you not want to smoke Padrones. It's definitely great, but you just got to be ready for it. Again, it's like, I don't always eat steak, but there's a steakhouse I go to when I want some good steak. I may not eat it every day, and that's how the Padrones are. They are the best, but you just got to know what you're getting into. All right. We doing this. All right. So we talk about Padrones. Brother says Padrones has a very distinct flavor. Yeah. One of the things I've heard it and I've said it, all the Padrones are essentially the same. They're all the same blend. It's a matter of the aging of them. Obviously, they got like the Damaso, which is more their Connecticut type. But all of your standard Padrones, they're all going to have, for the most part, the same blend. So Padron is the best. It's kind of like me saying, like, look, I'm a Miami Heat fan. I was never a Chicago Bull fan. But if we're talking about basketball, we got to say the Bulls are the best team ever made. I mean, that Bulls team with Jordan and Rodman and Harper, that was the best team ever assembled. It hurts me to say it, but they were the best. And so a man of integrity is always going to speak the truth. All right, so Padrones are good. All right. Well, Johnny says, Nick Perdomo says he draw tests every cigar. Yes. I think he does. We talk about 1,000 series of Padron. When a brand is making good stuff, it's gonna be good. So you can get, and here's the thing, you can get you, and it's just like I mentioned the name Rolex a second ago. You can get you the entry level Rolex, the Rolex Explorer. Get you a basic date just. Doesn't matter. It's a Rolex. It's gonna be perfect. Handmade, finest quality, perfection. If a company is making a good product, it's all going to be good. So the thing about Padron, you can get you they call them the 1,000 series. The 1,000 series smoke better than some of these high-end Byrons and all this new stuff. Listen, if it's good, it's going to always be good. And so that's one thing I think we gotta start looking at that. So if you got a company and you got your tiers, you got your quality stuff and your low-end stuff. But if you got a quality company, everything you put out is going to be good because it's all coming from the same fields, right? It's the same workers, right? And so every Padron is perfect. So even the 1000 series. All right. My brother hook us up. DJ Boom. DJ Boom. Thank you. Hey, listen, seriously, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat. Thank you for y'all just taking the time, listening as we talk about these legends. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Send the super chats. If you feel so led, I appreciate it. Join the Patreon, join the YouTube member. All right, I appreciate you guys. My buddy, see, listen, we know each other. Peter said, Explorer 2. If a company is making the right products, it's all going to be good. And so even the entry level is going to be good. And so the Explorer 2, don't ask me how I know about these things. I'm just a working stiff. The Explorer 2 is going to be just as good as that GMT. If it's good, it's good. If it's good, it's always going to be good. And so that's Padron. As we continue on, just legends in this show. This is going to be like a 3-part series. We talking about the legends. I know I get on here and I talk all kind of reckless stuff, but listen, a man's got to step back and say, hey, look, here's the legends. Here's the real deal stuff. Padron, forget what I said. They're the best. They are the best. All right. They're the best. All right. I don't know why I got to put an asterisk after it, but they are the best. I'm just saying. They are the best. All right. We'll leave it at that. Another big name. Legend. This guy right here. Carlos A. Fuente. Now, this is obviously Don Carlos. This is obviously Mr. Fuente. Only a Fuente is a Fuente. I don't care what cigars come out. The Opus X is the most sought after cigar in the world. Listen, if it's good, it's always going to be good. They don't have to do no hype. They don't have to do. If it's good, it's always going to be good. Now, as we see there, and I remember the day, 2016. I remember the day when this man breathed his last breath. I mean, it's such a thing when you've left such a mark. I remember, yes, on the day when he died, I sat and smoked me a Don Carlos. I sat and said, yeah. I was like, man, Carlos Fuente has passed away. I mean, when he died, that was a big moment. The Fuente family, and so not only when you hear about Fuente, you're hearing about Carlito, his son. And so when you talk about Don Carlos, and so that's who that cigar was made for. Don in the Spanish culture, Don, or even I guess Italian. In Latin cultures, Don means the boss. So this is why when you talk about my father, you got Don Pepin. When you talk about the Fuente, you got Don Carlos. So hence that cigar, the Don Carlos. If we're going to talk about the legends of cigars, we got to talk about the Fuentes. We got to talk about the Don Carlos. Fuente, what they did, so as we go all the way from Padron and Nicaragua, Fuente, they simply set up shop in a different place. So we're still talking about the same, leaving Cuba, Cuban Revolution, 1964. They simply set up in the Dominican Republic. And this is why I said earlier, sometimes it ain't about what's better or it's just different. It's the different soil. It's still in South America, but it's a different soil. So they set up shop in the Dominican Republic. A different vibe. It's just a different, I don't want to get into nutrients and sun and soil and all that stuff, but it's just different. And so they found themselves in a place where it's a different kind of soil. And so it's lighter. I personally prefer it more. Obviously, I'm more of a Fuente fanboy. But this is the Don right here. And all right, let me get caught up with the chat. All right, y'all got me going. Listen. We sipping on a legendary, this is Jack Daniels, their Heritage Toasted Barrel. I'm having fun talking to y'all. We smoking us a Chamoli, the Dynasty. After this, I'll probably segue into a Warp. Back in the days when Warp was good and they put out cigars with Aganorsa, Guardians of the Farm. So might do that in a second. In fact, the box that I use, this is my dry box. It's a Don Carlos. I think this is for the Eye of the Shark. Fuente is simply set up in the Dominican Republic. And now that might seem like, okay, what a big deal. Dominican Republic. Well, in the Bible says, there's a verse that says, can anything good come out of Nazareth? When they talk about Jesus. That's how people used to talk about the Dominican Republic. They used to say, can any good tobacco come out of the Dominican Republic? It wasn't known for making tobacco. Well, it wasn't known for making like a wrapper, and it was more so for just filler or just, it wasn't well respected. The Fuente family, they just happened to set up there. And they said, hey, how about we just focus in on this? And they said, hey, how about we make a cigar that's 100% Dominican Republic? Hence, that was the Opus X. How about we make an exceptional cigar that's 100% Dominican Republic Puro? Now, again, that might seem like if you're new to cigars, like, okay, whatever, who cares? But if you're doing this 20 years ago, that's a big deal. Fuente is just known for quality, exceptionalism. We talk about the Padron and their draw tests and all that stuff. Fuente just, it's the same. Well, it's not the same, but it's a high level of just exceptional quality. And so out of this, we get one of my most favorite cigars, the 20th anniversary. We get simply Opus X, just any Opus X. Ain't it funny how you can have a cigar? I mean, yes, they do all the specialty stuff. And I talk about Old Fogey, he's got all the new stuff. Listen, he's got the good. The Opus X comes out with some exotic stuff. They got the Dubai, they got this, the that, the purple rain, the pink lady, and they got all. You know you're onto something when just your, not to say your base model, but just your standard is good. Just your regular Opus X. So we talk about Rolexes. I saw someone said something about I kind of skipped over that comment. Ron said, okay, the tag chronograph looks like a Padron hand, just saying. Okay. I mean, Tag puts out some pretty good watches. All right, since we talking about watches, I mean, I don't know nothing about exotic watches, but if we gonna have the conversation, I mean, there's some watches like Patek Philippe. There's some watches like the AP. There's some watches where it's like, look, this is next level. So yeah, you got the Rolex. Rolex is good, but then you got that next level of exceptionalism. And to me personally, that's where the Fuentes come in. That's where your Opus X come in. Now, yes, the Padron, 1964, 1926, but if we're going to talk about just the finest cigars ever made, listen, and let me know if you agree or if you disagree. And you know what? I've noticed there's a new thing. There's a new thing in this space where people be trying to hate on Opus X. Now, some of that is just human psychology. That's what people do. If you get big, they hate on you. But let me know. Listen. And maybe I ought to do a whole campaign to say, look, stop with the Opus X hate. Opus X is the best. Like, let's stop playing. Let's stop. I've heard content creators say, "Oh, Opus X is overrated." Stop saying that. Behave yourself. There ain't nothing like an Opus X. This is why they, even in their own branding, they can say only a Fuente is a Fuente. This is big boy status. I know we can come out with the Atabays. I know there's always going to be some new stuff that comes out. And listen, I know we going to throw out the names. Kellner, Diaz. Only a Fuente is a Fuente. That's just it. This is that next level. I mean, this is like talking about, look, this is the Lamborghini. This is that just Aston Martin. This is that Rolls Royce. That's what it is. It's the Rolls Royce. There ain't nothing that's gonna compare to an Opus X. I know we're in a new day and time where we like to just say stuff. But only a Fuente is a Fuente. And so they build their company just off of just absolute exceptionalism. Now, and I would even admit I'm not the biggest, I don't get all like the exotic stuff. I mean, I don't really chase for them. But just your Don Carlos, ain't no cigar standing up to a Don Carlos. There ain't no cigar standing up to your standard Opus X. It's just the best. You get it in the different vitolas. Like my buddy says, the Shark. That's just... Okay. There comes a point where you got to say, all right, look. The Don Carlos Shark. Come on. All right. All right. So make sure y'all hitting the like button. We just talking about the legends. We and again, there's so much to cover. I mean, that's why I said, listen, I could do this show. We can do this for the next month of just laying out the legends of cigars. I know I get on here and I talk all crazy, but I am a respectful kind of guy. If you doing the right thing, and if you notice, even I saw Cigars Unbanded on here. I started the show off by saying, look, even if we look at content creation, we look at live streaming, listen, I'm always going to shout out who doing it at an exceptional level. I talk about, how Cigar Brothers just doing his thing, bringing cinematography. I talk about how back in the days, the Ron Reels and the Cigar Vixen. And there does come to a point where you got to look at something and say, hey, look, if we're talking about the quality, we're talking about being exceptional. There's some people that just does it. And my brother says right here, hate is the child of greatness. And I mean, unfortunately, that's what I'm learning. I'm seeing, like, if you just become so great, so big, folks try to, like, have conversations with you. And it's like, nah. So Opus X is just that name. All right, my brother right here. Yeah, we talking about watches. Listen, that's what I wear every day. A Citizen Eco Drive. Love that watch. That's you know who is the Citizen Eco Drive? He says the poor man's Rolex. Brother Ron says Opus best portfolio of cigars. I think that's the case. Because when you look at your standard Opus X, when you look at your Don Carlos, people don't realize this. Don Carlos is really just your regular production cigar. We take it for granted. That thing is just plain old fire. There ain't nothing standing up to a Don Carlos. We're just so used to it. If they had priced Don Carlos at $30, we would just pay $30 for a Don Carlos. It's an exceptional cigar. African Cameroon, yada, yada, yada. Now, Brother Young says, everybody, listen, we all connected on this. He says the Citizen Eco Drive is the poor man's Rolex. I got an Eco Drive. I got two of them. That's what I wore to church today. That's the poor man's Rolex. A good, solid. A good, solid Citizen. Brother Daryl jumped in. Everyone who just jumped in, make sure you hit the like button. We're just having us a good old conversation. I figure, okay, how am I going to talk about cigars and cigar makers and still make it fun and entertaining, exciting? Because sometimes cigar conversations can be boring. So I said, okay, let me do it in such a way that'll keep people engaged and actually make it entertaining and even encouraging. Because again, there's always going to be a message at the end. Brother says, he got an Eco Drive. That thing is a workhorse. I know it's a workhorse. That's why I wear that every day. Listen, we all won. We all connected. Ron says, yeah. Yes, sir. And then Young says, yeah, I wear my Eco Drive every day. I wear one too. Peter jumps in and says, yeah, my Eco Drive has never failed me. It will never fail you. Why will it never fail you? Rise and grind. Why will an Eco Drive never fail you? Well, my friends, on this cigar show, the Eco Drive has 3 sources of energy. First, it's powered by light, not just UV rays from the sun, but any light. And so the sun is going to energize it, but also just a light bulb, a incandescent light bulb will energize your Eco Drive. The Eco Drive, well, what if there is no light? It's powered by movement. So just you moving your hand while you wear it energizes it. What if there is no energy? What if there is no movement? What if there's no light? It does have a backup battery in there. So the only way an Eco Drive will stop working is if you bury it for years. So yeah. So that's why, listen, we all connected in this thing, man. We can talk about watches, we can talk about fragrance, we can talk about whiskey, drinking me some Jack Daniel's Heritage Barrel. We can talk about cigars. We can talk. Everybody rocking the Eco Drive. All right, Eco Drive is where it's at. Okay. What's the Eco Drive? What's the Citizen of the cigar space? Listen, everybody can't do a show. Everybody can't do a show. So we went from Rolexes to Patek Philippe to the Citizen Eco Drive. Who is the Citizen Eco Drive when we talk about cigar makers? We got to go Oliva. Oliva. You hear me talk all the time about my Series V Milanio, which is an exceptional cigar. I think that cigar, I say this all the time, that one, listen, if I was working at Oliva, I would have been charged y'all double off of that cigar. That cigar that's a phenomenal cigar. You see me smoking that all the time. Oliva, I talked earlier about Padron, saying how back in the 1800s, they was in Cuba. You know who else was in Cuba in the 1800s? Oliva. Family, the Oliva family. And so here you see a picture. These are those that remain. You see men, you see women. These are the children. Oliva. They put out a massive amount of cigars. They got the fields. They got the goods. I think if once we really start talking about cigars and we just start to learn that there's levels to this. And this is why I go so hard, because listen, if you're a new company, you just got to understand where you are in this game. And that's what just, it pisses me off when the new guys try to jump on the scene, try to act like they've been here. The Oliva company been here since the 1800s. We talking about family. We talking about massive acres and acres and acres of tobacco. So we talked earlier about being vertically integrated, growing all your stuff. And so Oliva can be like, hey, here's our Connecticut. Here's our Sumatra. Here's our this. Here's our that. They got it all. It's all theirs. They can come out with whatever. And so we talking about, in fact, you don't believe me? That's just one of their factories right there. Listen. There's levels to this. And so wait. All right, let me get caught up in the chat. There's levels to this, my friends. In fact, y'all was saying this before I even put it up. Young says Oliva V is the Eco Drive. There's levels to this. We're going to have to talk about EP Carrillo on another show. Listen, we're just having a little good conversation. This is why I did my whole intro early, and I said, man, how am I going to talk about cigars and not make it boring? And I can only talk about it the way that I live life and the way I see things and the way I experience life, and that there's levels to this. This is why it ain't like I'm hating on the new guys, but I'm like, look, man, it's levels to this. You can't just jump up out of nowhere and talk about you got a brand. Does your brand go back to the 1800s? Was you in Cuba? I have read books. Were you in Cuba? Are you a legacy brand? We are such in a day and time where we want to talk bad about the Olivas. Listen, there's people who want to throw shade at Oliva. Stop. Please stop. As long as there's a Rise and Grind channel, yeah. You know why I'm going to talk about Oliva Series V Milanio all the time? Because there's levels to this. That's like when the youngins talk about, oh man, I think this new guy, I think Luca is better than Magic Johnson. I'm like, all right, man. All right. There's levels to this, my friends. Like, and I didn't know this would be my fate in the world where I'm the guy that's got to like be the Mr. Historian of tobacco. I didn't know this would. I didn't know I'd ever be in this predicament. But there's levels to this. Put some respect on these names. Stop chasing all the new stuff. We talk about Padrons, Fuente, Oliva. There's levels to this, my friends. Perdomo is putting out some stuff. There's levels to this, my friends. EP Carrillo, everyone. All right, EP Carrillo. So we got a couple names. So next week we might hit you up with some Perdomo, some EP Carrillo, some Eladio Diaz. Yeah. There's names behind this. This is why for me, I just. The last week's show was entitled, just old school. Just some old school stuff. Brother Daryl says, imagine creating an industry that is fed and will continue to feed your family for generations. This thing is big. This ain't just some guy was in the sales department at a company and now he started a new company. I'm not hating on that, but all I'm saying is this thing runs way deeper than that. What we're doing now in the cigar space, there's this whole thing of, I used to work for Davidoff, and I used to work here, and I used to work there. Okay, good for you. That's called a resume. That means you're an adult male, and you've had jobs. You should have worked at a different place here and there. But we talking about legends. That don't put you in the same category as an Oliva. We talking about generations, and not just generations of their family. When you go to these places in Nicaragua and you're in these different towns, you talking about the generations have been fed from the tobacco production. You talking about an entire town where it's like, yeah, my dad worked in the fields, and my grandfather, and my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, we talking about going all the way back to the 1800s. There's some legends out here. And so that's why for me, I don't know. Maybe that's why I take it so serious. I'm like, look, you ain't gonna just pop up on the scene and just come with some hype and try to replace the legends. Nah, not on my watch. That's all we talking about. We ain't trying to hurt nobody. We're not hurting nobody, are we? We just talking about cigars. We just talking about some legendary cigar makers. All right, y'all keep talking about J.C. Newman. I don't have love for J.C. Newman like that, but I'll look into it. I'll admit where I am ignorant. He said J.C. Newman borrowed $50. I'm going to look into the J.C. Newman story. All right. If we're helping you, we got two more. And I'm showing you how, what's the word, impartial I am. This cigar smoked really good. So I'm smoking this Chimole, some new stuff. It's smoking really good. I mean, I've been rocking with you guys for an hour and 30 minutes. Same cigar. Smoking great. I'm talking, I'm drinking, it's smoking great. All right, make sure you're hitting the like button. Before we continue on, I'm sipping on some Jack Daniels. Had me a good day at church today. That's why I like doing these shows on Sunday nights. It's good for me. I get to work all week, write my sermon Saturday, preach on Sunday, and now I got nothing else to do until I wake up Monday morning. And so if you are benefiting from this, if I'm helping you, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure we supporting this. We not hurting nobody. We ain't got to always do controversy. I ain't taking nothing from nobody, but I am saying you will respect the legends. As long as, listen, this platform is designed, we talking about old school stuff. I'm going to give you the truth, some education, make it entertaining, but we will respect the legends. And yes, everything I do is very intentional. That's why I'm sitting and smoking a new cigar, a Chimole, new company, some Asian brothers. Okay. I got love for the new stuff, but we will respect the legends. We not playing. No, we will respect the legends, my friends. And if you're a new guy, since a new guy have to try hard. If you're a new guy, it's cool. You can be a new guy, come on the scene. But I do the new guys know about the legendary ones? Do the new guys know about who paved the way? Do the new guys know about who made all this possible? Brother say Swisher International. All right, I don't know what they putting out. Hey, if you're a big company, you must have been doing something right. Good comment. We love Steph Curry. He ain't no Larry Bird. Like, stop. Come on now. And this is where we just find ourselves. It's so funny. My son, who was like 23, me and him used to argue basketball, hip hop. God honest truth. My son texted me the other day. He says, Dad, you were right. Jay-Z is the best. And I was like, dang, well, okay. Because my son used to always be like, nah, J. Cole's the best. And Kendrick is the best. And Eminem is the best. I'm like, nah, dude, like, stop. Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z. There's some legends out here. At some point, as a man, you got to mature a little bit. You got to get to that next level. but you got to know your history. You got to know what you're talking about. Don't tell me about who's the best right now. I don't know, Luca and Joker and Wembe. Those guys are nice, but don't talk to me about no Wembe if you don't know about David Robinson. David Robinson had quadruple doubles. Don't talk to me about Wembe if you don't know. Listen, if you don't know about no Hakeem Olajuwon, if you don't know, listen, if you don't know about Patrick Ewing, you don't know about some Moses Malone. As my brother says, new guys, they putting out some good stuff. All right, you know what? So this Chamole smoked really good. I'm gonna go ahead and light up this. If you are appreciating the content, make sure you're hitting the like button. All we doing is making you some good content. Some stuff you can sit and smoke a cigar to. Enjoy yourself on a Sunday night. We used to do this on a Friday night, but I got a thing called a 20-year marriage. And so on my Friday nights, I'm going to be taking my wife out. On my Friday nights after I done worked all day, I'm going to be chilling and relaxing. And so we'll kick it with you on Sunday nights until football starts. And so if you're benefiting from what we're doing right here, I'm lighting me up a Guardians of the Farm. We can call it Warp, but we really should call it Aganorsa Leaf. I mean, that's who really puts the cigar out. This is an amazing cigar. Nobody talks about it anymore. A great cigar. Make sure you're hitting the like button. We didn't talk about watches. We didn't talk about the legends. Brother mentions Elevation. I like Elevation. Portlick, past it there. Look, we can go in any direction. We know stuff. We know stuff. My friend mentions LL Cool J. Legends. Yeah. I mean, don't talk to me about no Offset and this and that. Man, if you don't know about the legends, if you don't know about who paved the way, come on in, Guns and Water. We an hour, 40 minutes in. My wife said, look, on my Sunday nights, we watching Paradise. I don't know if you're watching it. You probably done watched the whole season already. I'm going to kick it with y'all, have this little conversation, talk about some stuff. At church, I ran my 2 miles after church, get my health together. I'm chilling, I'm relaxing, I'm not hurting anybody. Smoking some cigars, drinking some whiskey, some Jack Daniels. Just talking to the people about some cigars. Johnny said he recently had some Ashton. You know where Ashton gets their tobacco from? You know where all that Ashton tobacco comes from? In fact, y'all keep talking about J.C. Newman. You know where listen, this thing is so deep. You know where Ashton gets their tobacco from? From this guy. You know why I can't just say, oh, J.C. Newman, the shark. I mean, Julius Caesar. You know where J.C. Newman gets their tobacco from? This guy. J.C. Newman puts out the Brick House. You know where J.C. Newman gets their tobacco from? This guy. My friends, when you really start pulling that thread, you're going to come to see that, wait a minute. So there ain't about like 5 places where all the tobacco is coming from. All right, let's continue on. Maverick City, love their worship. Gurkha. I can answer that real quick. Gurkha Cellar Reserve, 12-year and 15-year are some pretty good cigars. All right. Am I doing any weekday lives? I might squeeze them in from every now and again, but I'm looking at Sunday nights. I'll try to squeeze them in. If I realize I got a Tuesday that's just wide open, I'll go ahead and hook y'all up. All right, my friend says he's smoking Opus X. He says it was good. He's lighting up another Opus X. Okay, old fogey. All right, enjoy. I'm glad you're sticking around. I'm glad you're in a much better place. You've been traveling, having a good time, buying up expensive cigars. Opus X. That's the way to do it. All right. We gonna continue on. I dropped some legends. Okay, so we're talking about old school families, Fuentes, Padrons, Olivas. Okay, it's hard to compare to that. I mean, that's just insane, right? Yeah, I try to run 2 miles a day, three, 4 times a week. I'm not who I used to be. I'm not the man I used to be. But I'm trying to get back down. Trying to take care of my health. I'm 46 years old, but I'm still doing my thing. I said he used to listen to Young MC back in the day. I love Young MC. All right, now y'all talking about whispers. Okay. Jack Daniels. In fact, old Fogey's supposed to hook me up with some Jack Daniels 10, 12, or 14. We got to have that conversation, old Fogey. I don't think I've had them, but I don't have a bottle. All right. The JC Norman makes American cigars. My friend is on his second stick with some Old Forester 1924. That's an amazing pour. That pour is probably going to be similar to this because this is a toasted barrel. And that Old Forester, I think that's also a toasted barrel. All right, we're going to press on. We're just getting started. We're an hour and 40 minutes in. Listen, we having a good time. I'm adjusting my lights because when I start the show, the sun is on me. And so I got lights on me even though the sun is on me. And so now the sun is starting to set. There's a lot of names in cigars. And I think as we continue this, I think you're going to be fascinated when you start to learn where these guys came from, when you start to learn their journey, when you really start to see how it all comes together. I think that's going to be fun. All right. So another name, and this is just me being an honest man. I'm an honest man. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. If we're going to talk about cigars, we talk about the Fuentes, the Patrons, Olivas. All right, just legendary names. We'll get into the Perdomos and the Carrillos, the Diaz. We'll tackle that next week. Tonight, the sun is always on me. I'm always shining. 2 names I'm going to drop on you as we wrap this thing up. I'm going to go watch Paradise with my wife. Let me know if you guys are watching Paradise. Let me know. Is that your show? Do you watch Paradise? I'm digging it. Here's a name. Here's a guy. Jonathan Drew. Okay. Now I talk all the smack about Drew Estates. But if I'm going to be honest, Jonathan Drew. So I talk about these legendary families in Cuba. All right, this guy is not from Cuba. This is I think he's even, and I'm not saying this in an insulting way. This is how he describes himself. Well, let me not say. Okay. He's from New York. He's a regular guy from New York. starts a cigar company, Jonathan Drew. And so you've heard about Drew Estates. And so now, old fogies on here, if you heard about Dunbarton, Steve Saka, might get in trouble for saying this, but there ain't no Steve Saka without a Jonathan Drew. I'm a big fan of Foundation, Nick Melillo. There is no Foundation without Jonathan Drew. So Jonathan Drew, he's just a regular guy, young guy, starts a company. He's from New York, so he's not. There is no. When he starts something that worked, and so his big thing is he starts a company. He really starts off with acid, these infused cigars, and it worked. He worked it. And then between him, Nick Melillo, Steve Saka, somebody, I don't know who did it, you'll have to let me know, but somebody came out with this, the Liga Privada. Now, if you watch my channel, the channel ain't but like 3 years old. And so all you probably heard me do is talk crap about the Liga Privada. That's because, in 2022, 2023, sure. Yeah. But you got to go way back to, let's say, 2015, maybe 2020. The Liga Privada was revolutionary. Connecticut broadleaf. So just like when we talk about Fuente and Dominican Republic, and that's, nobody had done that before. When Drew Estate came out with the Liga Privada, that changed everything. Now, yes, I talk crap about it. Listen, that's because we're in 2026. But in 2015, in 2020, this was the biggest thing out there. Connecticut broadleaf. It's got this chocolate taste to it, this bready taste to it. This is what changed everything. And so Drew Estate came out with this, and yes, you got all these big names. And that's why a little history lesson is important, because if you only know Dunbarton, but you don't know Dunbarton came from Drew Estate. If you only know Foundation, but you don't know Foundation came from Drew Estate. This guy here, Jonathan Drew, just some kid from New York, starts a company. Starts with some infused cigars, and then they just kept blending and blending and blending. Before you know it, they got the undercrown, like my brother said right here. Why did they come out with the undercrown? Because the workers at Drew Estate were like, man, these Ligas are good. We want to smoke them. And so the workers just kept smoking all the Liga Privadas. Drew Estate finally said, look, man, y'all can't keep smoking all the products. So they came out with the undercrown to say, okay, look, here's a cigar. It's the same thing as a Liga Privada, but it's for y'all to smoke. And then that became like a big thing, the undercrown. And so they got the undercrown 10, they got the undercrown shade. And so we're going to talk about cigars, the legends. Even though I sit here and talk crap about Drew Estate all the time, we got to admit that this is a legendary stick. If we're going to talk about the legends in the game, here's what you got to realize. When I talk, I'm talking about today. But you got to go back 10 years ago. Drew Estate earned their place. They earned their respect. My biggest thing is I'm like, well, dang, like, okay, what you did since then? But that's they earned their place. They put years into this. They made an exceptional cigar. But says, how can you send me a sticker? Email me. The email's in my bio. And so, yeah, Drew Estate came out first. They started with the acid, then they came out with the deadwood and the fat bottom Bettys, and they earned their place. They brought in a whole generation of cigar smokers. This is a legendary name. And so I'm always going to put respect on it. And I know it may seem like, oh, well, you don't respect them. I respect them. This is what I was smoking in 2020. I love Drew Estate. I love Liga Privadas. You cannot be a cigar smoker today and you don't have no love for the Liga Privada. I got love for it. Am I smoking it? I might revisit it, but as a man of integrity, I gotta tell you, nah, Liga Privada, this is legendary stuff. And so Drew Estate did their thing. All right. We almost done. We almost 2 hours into the show. So again, I'm getting tired. I really gotta take a bathroom break. But we're gonna push on. My brother says I started with acids. Most people did, truth be told. Brother Young's been smoking the T52s. I mean, it's good. It's good stuff. Don't let me or other content creators fool you. We're just talking about now, but there's some legends to this thing, my friends. There's some legends behind this. And we're just doing this whole series to say, look, let's just shout out the legends. Let's just shout out the legends. Last one, as I do this inaugural show. Talking about, yeah, I need a bucket because listen, here's the thing. I'm drinking a lot of water in front of you. I'm sitting here in front of you, and I'm like, you guys can stop and have a restroom break. And I thought about it, like, do I just pause the show and just go? Like, but I'm like, all right. Yeah, I'm a 46-year-old man with a 46-year-old prostate. So I'm like, dang, show must go on. We here. Listen, hit like off of that. Let me know. Can I pause the show? Can I kill the camera for a second and let the music play and let y'all chill and conversate amongst each other? Can we do that? You probably get a better show if you let me step away for like 30 seconds. Let me know. All right. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it going. Listen, talk amongst yourselves. That's what happens when you let a 46-year-old man drink 2 bottles of water in front of you. I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. Talk amongst yourself. Talk amongst yourself. Let me how do I kill my camera? Talk amongst yourselves. We got let me work this technology. Jeez. Damn technology. You know what? All right. I don't know how to do this. We're going to let the show keep going. The music's going to play. You here. Talk with yourself. I'm not even going to kill the mic or nothing. All right. I don't know what I'm going to do. Whatever I'm going to do, I'll be gone for about 30 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I think we back. Whew. Feels so much better. Oh man, feels like we can start a whole new show. Y'all ready? We good? Man. Are we good? How far behind am I in the chat? Where's my drink? Where's my water? All right, we good? Man, whew. I'm not getting no bucket. I'm gonna do that every time. I'm gonna just stop the show and go. I drink a lot of water, my friends. Hydrate yourself. Whew. So here's the thing. As you can probably see, so I'm wearing. I got out of church. See this CrossFit. Got home, went on my jog. Got home after my jog. I drank me a Gatorade and some water because I ran a 2-mile run. And then I sat down in front of you guys and drank like 2 bottles of water. So I'm sitting here. My body's like, dude, yeah. so I appreciate your patience. I was like, man, but what if I come back? Everybody's gone. I'm like, look, I don't care if they leave or not. Like, I got one prostate. My prostate is good. I know we're gonna segue into that. Get your prostate checked, get your colon checked. My birthday is coming up in July. Make sure I see my doctor. Get my prostate check. I call it, you can call it a prostate check. I call it a date. That's what we call it. I'm like, dang, it's a date. You my co-host. So sometimes if you notice some guys they got panels, and sometimes a guy will kill his camera and step away. Like me, I'm like, dang, I ain't got no panel here. All right. We just bringing you some content on a Sunday night. Used to do Friday nights, but now we doing Sundays. Make sure you check out Old Fogey. He's going to jump on Friday nights. I think I'll be able to. I tell myself Friday nights is going to be for me. On Friday night, I already got a plan. I'm going to smoke me a My Father Florida A&T, his 10th anniversary. And just chill, relax. And I'll probably be watching Old Fogey's show. So I hope you do it on Friday night, because I need something to watch when I smoke me this cigar. Because so often, jeez, what y'all talking about? His typical, jeez, man, I know, listen, we can take it. If we were in the lounge, man, listen, it's all good. A real man could just have some fun. One of the things that I notice is that because I'm doing these shows, I smoke good cigars, but I can't smoke great cigars because I'm not going to smoke a $40 cigar while doing a show because you can't really enjoy it. You know, it's like you're smoking it, you got to relight it. And so I can't wait until Friday night where I can sit down, smoke me a great cigar. I might even pour me like some legendary, like some George T. Stagg, and just chill and relax and watch something. And I know I don't say this to throw shade at nobody. One of the challenges that I face in just in my journey is I'm like, damn, I don't really have a lot of stuff I can watch, especially on a Friday night when I want to sit and chill and have a cigar. There's not a lot of stuff I can just sit down and watch and enjoy and just chill. So I started doing my lives. But then I realized, well, if I'm doing a live, this is work. Like, I'm having fun, but I'm working, you know? And so I said, all right, look, I need my Friday nights back. This is bucket time, man. I'm not getting no bucket. No. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not wearing no Depends. I'm not gonna sit here and piss on myself. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna step away. So good. The precedent has been set. 2 hours into the show, Rise and Grind is going to step away and just be gone for about a minute. I feel better. I feel better. I feel so much better. All right. We need this. We need this. Let me get caught up. Whew. I feel so much better. Brother says, all right, Freaky Fridays. Fogey's Freaky Fridays. Check that out. If you're watching this, wait, his name's right there. So go ahead. If you're following this, you follow Old Fogey. So check that out. It seems like such a weird ask. Can we just applaud like just real stuff, regular stuff, good stuff? And I did a whole monologue where I was saying something along the lines of, do I bring brands on? And so all we did tonight was talk about brands, right? That's all we've done. We talk about the Drew Estate. We talk about the Fuente, the Padron. We talk about the Oliva. That's a different kind of show if I bring the brand representatives on, because it's just a different vibe. And I'm not knocking anyone who does it, but it just ain't what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to keep us here. I want us to talk about what we want to talk about, how we want to talk about it. Because if I'm sitting here and I'm not trying to say, oh, I know Carlito Fuente and I'm going to call him up. But if I got Carlito Fuente sitting here on a live with me, the show is going to be a different vibe. I can't be like, hey, Mr. Carlito, I got to go piss real fast. I'll be right back. I want us to do us. And I just wish we would just support us doing us. And so that's the whole premise of my show, is to say, look, and you've seen it in the different style of content where I said, look, I got a whole bar set up, and you've seen all those videos. I got the lights shining on. I said, look, I don't want to do all that. When I do a video, I'm going to just sit on my couch, turn the camera on, and just talk. I'm not going to script nothing out. I'm just talking to the people. And can we just do this? So let me know, are you enjoying this? Because this, I like this. I'm going to educate you on some stuff. I'm going to tell you all about whatever, Fuente and Padron. And sometimes we'll get into some society, masculinity and all that. Yeah, we can do a lot. We talk about watches tonight. We'll talk about fragrance. We can talk about anything. But the biggest thing I ask from you guys, you got to support this kind of stuff. When Fogey does this thing, you got to support this kind of stuff. I know we like to say, oh, I'm making content just for me. And that's it's cool to say it. But it's good when the people are supporting it. Because then you know you're on to something. And somewhere on my journey, I was like, man, people are rocking with this stuff. And so all I'm saying is, when it comes to content that you support, and that's why I appreciate you guys so much. Big Manny, every video I drop, he's going to leave a comment and say something. That matters a lot. If you notice, I respond to every comment. Because it matters. It's a big deal. Sometimes people think, oh, you're just doing content, you're just making content. Yeah, I'm making content, but having the people support it is very important. And so when you're seeing, because listen, we can do this in one of two ways. There could be like real hardcore, just us, or it could be the brand comes on and they push their product and they tell you how great their cigars are, and so my whole channel is to say, look, what if Can we do it without that? Can we have the education and the entertainment and it's just us? And so if you dig in that, then please support the stuff that you like, that you're digging. Support the stuff that you're digging. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's so hard to do. I mean, it is a sacrifice. Man, I'm rocking with y'all for 2 hours, 13 minutes. It does take something. And I'm not even saying this for me. I'm saying this for all the channels. Because I said something earlier in the video. I said, a lot of cigar content creators are going to just drop away. You know why? No support. I think we tend to say, oh, I like this, I like that. And we support it half the times. And so the stuff that you like, make sure you're supporting it. And anyway, just and the beauty of it, you ain't got to send no super chat, although I welcome them, but just hitting the like button, just hitting the hype button. I mean, just doing something. It goes a long way. Because if a guy like me is like, man, I'm going to go chill with my wife. I ain't finna sit here and do this for 2 hours. I'm going to go hang out. Let me stop doing it. You know, when that happens, you know what happens? God honest truth. This is where I found myself. And if you're honest, you'll admit it. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'm sitting to smoke a cigar and I'm like, I ain't got nothing to watch. I say this all the time. God honest truth. 3 years ago, I was smoking a cigar and I pulled up Ron Real videos, Ron Real lives from like 5 years ago. And I'm watching old stuff because there was nothing I wanted to watch. And so I said, you know, man, let me do something about it. And so that became the channel. So I'm you. And one day I said, man, I'm tired of watching reruns. How much Cigar Vixen videos am I going to watch? I like watching them, but I was like, okay, I'm watching her talk about old cigars that I don't even smoke no more. And I said, all right, what if I was to jump in? Because when I started, Cigar Vixen stopped. And then Charles Wallenfoot stopped. And Ron Real stopped. And even Cigar Obsession stopped. Everybody stopped. I'm like, dang, what am I supposed to do now? And so I said, all right, let me go ahead and start. And it's what do they call it? It's a love passion. I think that's the term. You know, I love doing it, but I mean, it is work. Like literally, I'm sitting down with y'all. It's like when you're sitting for 2 hours, you talking, and you gotta go. I'm like, damn, I gotta go. I'm like, that's why I didn't talk that much about Drew Estate. I had so much more to say. I was like, I ain't got nothing else to say. I gotta go pee. Drew Estate did great, and shouts out to them, but I had to go pee. So Drew Estate, Jonathan Drew, you did great. You made a great company. I'm happy. I had to go. All right. So we gonna continue. Mental health episode. We got so much stuff coming. We got you. I'm smoking this Guardians of the Farm. The problem, but when you stop smoking, now it's all acidic on me. I'm like, dang, I don't like it right now. All right, let me get caught up. All right, so y'all doing your thing. Let's see, social media. You can't find my email. All right, so if you look in my bio, so you can figure that out. You on the whole live. So Look at my bio. There's an email in there. It's like rise and grind 411 at Gmail. Look in there. It's in there. Shoot me. Shoot me an email, and then we'll connect. A lot of people, yeah, everyone connects with me. Everybody, listen, everybody connects with me. So don't let these folks fool you. Everybody sends me an email. All the content creators send me emails. Everybody connects with me. And we support a lot of people. All right. Let me see. Everybody is subscribing to Old Fogey, which is good. I like that. I love that. All right. Jeez, man, y'all went crazy in the chat. All right, I can't even get caught up right now. All right, last guy. If you hear a dog, that ain't my dog. That's a neighbor's dog. As I shared with you, my dog, Prince. We laid him to rest. It's been about 2 months now. The house is so different now. Had him for about 13 years. And then the neighbor's got a dog. You know, it's a crazy thing about not having a dog. Now all of a sudden my grass is exceptional. In my backyard, my grass grows. There's no, I mean, my gardener was like, man, your grass looks so good now. I'm like, yeah, no more dog. All right. We just talking about legendary cigar makers. We talk about Padron. Listen, gotta put respect on that name. Oliva, Fuente, Drew Estate. So don't let me fool you. Listen, if you want to go get you a Liga Privada, get you that Liga Privada. Smoke it, enjoy it. It's great, you know? Don't let nobody fool you thinking it ain't the great. What's up, Vigilante? We doing our thing. We having fun. All right. Yeah, life is so different now. Even like when we come home and there's not that dog that runs up to you. And here's a crazy thing. For 13 years, I hated it. I hated when I came home and my dog ran up to me. But now I'm like, damn, we come in the house and it's like just quiet. And so that's why I did that video the other day talking about something about man's best friend. Actually, no. I was talking about this cigar. I was talking about the Guardians of the Farm, put out by Aganorsa. They talk about the dogs that guarded the farm. So much about what we talked about tonight. There's people who grow this stuff, and they've been doing this for generations. There's so much to the tobacco space. That's why a guy like me, a social scientist and all this stuff, that's why I'm so intrigued by this space. There's generations of people, the workers, all the workers in Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Honduras, all these places, their whole family works the farm. Mom, dad, grandma, grandfather, great-grandmother. And there's a generation of dogs. The dogs protect the farm. So there's so much to this. This thing is so big, my friends. When Arturo Fuente went to the Dominican Republic, and so many companies do this, you know what they set up? They set up schools. Because they realize that, look, if the whole family is here, who's teaching the kids? So these companies who I support, they set up entire schools. They build schools to teach the kids. So while the parents are out farming and cultivating the tobacco, the kids are now in school. And so when you look at the Padrones, the Fuentes, the Olivas, this thing is, listen, it's the whole ecosystem. It becomes an entire town. They set up schools so the children can go and learn and get an education. So when I look at this thing, is way bigger than you may think. It ain't just about so this is why and this is why they hate me. This is why when a guy comes out of nowhere and he's like a salesman, he wearing a suit, he the accountant, and he talking about, oh, I know cigars. I'm like, you don't know nothing. Remember, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from these agricultural communities. I'm from these places. That's my father-in-law is from Mexico. He works the fields. This is where I'm from. This is what I know. I don't know I know the corporate side now. This is why when these companies pop up out of nowhere and they're just trying to push stuff on us, and I'm like, nah, you ain't tobacco. I grew up in a place where we grew mangoes, lemons, all this stuff. I live in a town where anytime you've had a strawberry, that's where I presently live. And so for me, this thing is so much bigger than just trying to push some new cigar on you. That's why whenever a new cigar comes out, I take it so serious because I'm like, nah, I know the people. I know the environment. It's way bigger than just, let me come up with a new cigar and get you to buy it. I go way deeper than that. But to take your time, if I get another dog. As a Marine, and my brother Young, he's from Seattle, so he knows about Gonzaga, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. So the Marine mascot is the Bulldog. Gonzaga mascot is the Bulldog. So I've always told myself if I was to ever get another dog, I would get me a Bulldog. Problem is the Bulldogs, they don't have like great health. You know, they have breathing problems, and but I would love to get me like an American Bulldog. All right, so we back. We back. We had our intermission. Last name we'll cover tonight as we wrap this up. 2 hours, 25 minutes. My wife is going to kill me, but it's all good because it's early. That's why we start the show early, because I already know it's 7:00 my time. I gotta go to my family. I got a wife who's like, hey, are we watching Paradise tonight or not? Fuente, I'm a big fan. Padron, I don't smoke no more. Oliva, I love. Drew Estate, I talk crap about. But I got the utmost respect for all these brands. One of the spaces where maybe some of you guys started following me, I did a video. I talk bad about AJ Fernandez. I said his cigars, they're a bit spicy. They're a bit earthy. I said they taste like spicy dirt. Now, I've walked this back a million times, but AJ Fernandez, this guy right here, you cannot talk about cigars if you don't know this guy. Now, here's the thing. His cigars, and it's so many. If you've ever, listen, when I started smoking, I was smoking diesels. I love diesels. I was smoking Man O' Wars. Love those cigars. San Lantano. New Worlds. If you heard about a company called Aging Room. I mean, Foundation, they used to get all their tobacco from AJ. Then they kind of switched to my father. I pulled up a thing today and it said, if you smoked a cigar in the past 10 years, chances are it came from this guy, AJ Fernandez. How old is he? He's like 45 years old. This is a current picture that you're looking at. This guy is meticulous, examining every leaf. Now, yes, just like I said with the Padrons, they're strong. This guy, yes, sure. Even if the tobacco, even if the blend isn't for me, this guy is a straight genius when it comes to making tobacco. Guy's like 45 years old. He might be 46 at this point. This guy is, I talked earlier about terms like Don. When we talk about Mr. Fuente, who's passed away, we call him Don Carlos. When we talk about Mr. Pepin, or, well, that's his nickname, Pepin, we call him the Don Pepin. There's a cigar called that by my father, the Don Pepin. This guy is like 40 years old, 45 years old. It's time we started calling him Don AJ. Now, even though I might sit here and be like, oh, I don't like the cigars and they're strong. Yeah, forget me. Forget me. Forget Rise and Grind. AJ. This guy is just the absolute, just right now, if we're talking about modern day, 21st century, king of cigar making, it's AJ. It is absolutely AJ. AJ, listen, let me show you this. All right. A picture's worth 1,000 words. That's what one of the AJ areas look like. That's just one of them. And so you heard the other day where there was a fire at the AJ Farms. And if you notice, there has been no limit in production. There's been no limit in tobacco put out. This is what one of his farms production areas look like. If you smoking cigars, they coming from AJ. Look at this. I mean, can you imagine how much rollers are in there? We're talking about thousands of people. So when I talked earlier about schools being built, roads being built, infrastructure being set up, this is what some people are out here doing. All this stuff right here, that's just one of them. I think he got like 5 of these things. That's a lot of tobacco. So sure, a guy like me can just do a video and be like, yeah, I don't like AJ. Yeah. That's very small-minded. I will admit it. That's like saying, oh, I don't like Costco. I mean, it's like, okay, that's like me saying I don't like Walmart. I don't like Ford. This thing is so big. And so if you're smoking cigars, at some point you got to come to understand, look, all the cigars you smoking is coming from AJ Fernandez. Whether it's his rollers rolling it, whether it's his tobacco, AJ is doing it. I mean, this thing is huge. This thing is massive. He can lose an entire one of these and not even skip a beat. That's how big this thing is. And in the midst of it, you're looking at this and it's huge, it's big, it's massive. And here he is, examining a leaf. And so when I sit here and I say stuff, and you're like, damn, why he going off on Mr. who owns a new company and he was a salesman? I'm like, okay, guy, you a salesman. Are you doing this? Do you even know what to look for when you look at a leaf? I get it. You used to work for Davidoff. Yeah, you were in the sales department. Are you doing this right here? My friends, there's some legends out here. The reason you and I can sit and smoke cigars, and it ain't because of the guys in sales. It ain't because of the guys who you see talking on podcasts. It's because of guys like this. If you're gonna smoke cigars, and that's where hopefully I'm bringing you some kind of benefit, some kind of. I'm just trying to highlight for you where the tobacco is coming from. It ain't just the sales guy in a suit. I'm not knocking the suit wearers, but it's people like this out here doing it. And here's the thing. He examining the leaf. You know who's really running the show? You see the guy next to him? I don't know who the guy next to him is, right? On all these farms, there's a gray-haired guy, a Latino gentleman who's running all this stuff. This is why I get so mad and so passionate when I'm like, okay, you talking about the guy on the podcast? That's not who's making our tobacco. That's not who's rolling our cigars. That's not where the real work is getting done. That's where some of the promotion and the hype and all this stuff. The guy sitting and doing the interview with Cigar Aficionado, that ain't where we get our cigars from. We get our cigars from this, what you see right in front of you. A guy like AJ. Whoever who he's next to, that guy, I'm willing. Look at the guy. We know that guy in the picture is like 80 years old, and that guy, his son is working the factory. His grandson works there. This is where it really happens. And so the reason why I go in the direction I go with my show is to say, look, I'm not going to let y'all. I'm going to redirect the limelight and the attention and the focus on where the tobacco is really coming from. And so my brother asked, what's some of my favorite stuff? Ramon Allones by AJ Fernandez. Amazing cigar, tastes like raisins. H. Upman 175th by AJ, amazing cigar. Karen Burgers by AJ, amazing cigars. The Original Foundation Stuff by AJ, amazing cigars. Aging Room by AJ, amazing cigars. There's a lot of good stuff out here. And so I came on tonight, 2 hours, 35 minutes in. I'm done. Ain't nothing else to talk about. I done took a bathroom break. My cigar is all like not smoking good. I done drank my water. We came and we shared about the legends of cigars. And we'll keep doing this because here's the thing. We haven't even tipped the iceberg. Y'all talk about the Perdomos, the Carrillos. There's so much names to this. I mean, there's a lot of people who put in a lot of work that allows us to enjoy this thing that we enjoy. And for me, yeah, this has been, I'm sure you guys found out about me because I said, forget the hype. This is what I was talking about. And I think I didn't do a good job in explaining it. I just said, forget the hype because I've always known about this. And so it's simply my hope that we can talk more about this. I mean, listen, Asencia is putting out a $60 cigar. It's going to release. And everybody's going to get that cigar and smoke it and talk about it and do videos on it. And it may be a good cigar, but I just want us to get back to talking about what's real. I mean, there's entire countries, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, like I said, Honduras, obviously Cuba. There's so much tobacco being made, and you and I smoke this stuff and we enjoy this stuff. And so maybe I can talk about it and shine a limelight on it. The New World, Dorado, good stuff. And I hate it. Oh, I'm gonna go on a tangent, but I hate it when people say, "Oh, you smoking diesel, you smoking man of war." Like, nah, man, that's real cigars. That's what real people smoke. That's what we really smoke. We really smoke Olivas. We really smoke Patrons, 1000 series. We really smoke. Listen, folks out here really smoke Liga Privadas. That's the biggest pushback I've ever gotten, where I said Liga Privadas aren't good, and people are like, "You a damn lie. Liga Privadas are good." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, it's good." And so I think my biggest problem is I think I didn't explain it well what I was saying. But if you're really into cigars, I mean, you know about Romeo y Julietas. That's all AJ. Most of the times when you see a Cuban name like Romeo y Julieta, H. Upman, Monte Cristo, and his New World, the fact that you can actually get it, that's all AJ. Asian Room got Cigar of the Year 1 year. The Asian Room Quattro. Everybody talk about it. That's all AJ. Man of War. Let me ask you this. When you ever seen a Man of War video? Anybody ever did a video about Man of War? Has anybody ever done a video about diesel cigars? That's what we smoking. That's what regular people smoke. It's all put out by AJ. So we came, we talked, 2 hours, 40 minutes in. I'm done. Ain't nothing else to say. I'm gonna go watch Paradise with my wife. And we got content coming out. I'm gonna drop some shorts on you maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna drop a video on you Tuesday. Oh, Fogey's doing his thing Friday. Check that out. I'm excited to see that. I'll be back messing with y'all next Sunday. I got time. And we'll continue this because there's so much to be uncovered. There's so much to talk about. What we talk about, I can do this like 4 more times. There's a lot of good stuff out here, my friends. Enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoyed the content tonight. If you did, hit like. Let's do the YouTube stuff. Support. I said, okay, let me find a way I can do cigar information in a way that's not boring. I think we did it. I can always do a show about some controversial thing, and I'll do that for fun. I mean, hey, I like that fun. But if you really love this cigar space, if you love, listen, if you're really into where the cigar really comes from, I think we can have some good conversations about that. And so, if you've enjoyed yourself tonight, make sure you're hitting the like button on the way out. It's going to show on the replay. People are going to watch it. We on to a new thing right now. We're doing something different. It ain't about pushing brands. It's about really sharing the information. And if you told me I was going to be doing this 3 years ago, I'd say, nah, I'm just smoking cigars and chilling. But I realized that, okay, maybe I got something to offer. So that's all we're doing. So if you've enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe. But most importantly, rise and grind.